everybody, my name is Miranda and today I'm here to discuss episode 2 of Sunday Spy Club from Pixel Circus. This is honestly so random, but I was excited just from the first get-go to see that they're all wearing different outfits. Same color, of course, but different outfits just because the trailer only, I think, showed parts from episode 1, I guess, since I think they all had the same outfits on, which I love those outfits. Like, episode 1 outfits, I think, are stellar. They're after my heart. But I really like that they also have new outfits and that's like another thing that I can look forward to. Each episode is like a different outfit reveal in their particular color. I have to say I love them all so far, but style points really shout out to Becca's, like, I don't know what you call it, but it's like triangular top, you know, her purple top where it starts out like regular and then it goes into like a kind of like curved bottom in a triangle. That was really cute. And also Sage's lollipop earrings. I thought those were absolutely adorable. I also really like Mika's sunglasses, and I noticed there was like a little glitter under it this time. The sunglasses honestly are giving me Lizzie McGuire in that one specific episode where she turns into a diva, and I'm here for it. I also saw them like calling her like the London Tipton of this, and I definitely feel that fashion vibe as well. So like I'm so excited now to see what their outfits are going to be in the last 2 episodes. But yeah, this episode I also was really impressed with how much story they were able to pack into it, particularly in terms of like character growth and plot growth. So focusing on the character growth, I saw a comment that said like this episode is like Speed the group goes to therapy, but yeah, they're definitely talking about, which I guess maybe I noticed it in the first episode, but like I was just so in love with them that I didn't really care. You could make the argument that the 4 of them have some codependency issues, right? Like they have to be together and they always have to protect each other from anything that could potentially harm them. Like, I think the thing that really, like, cemented it for me when I was like, oh, maybe this is going a bit too far, was when Mal had, like, fixed the robot. I think it was Peter. There were so many robots to keep track of in this episode, and I loved every single one of them, honestly. But I think it was Peter needed to be fixed, and she had fixed it just a little under the best time, which was, of course, Midge's time. So then the other girls kind of, like, changed it so she actually had the fastest time. And I just think that's where it's like, okay, like, maybe instead of always making it so your friend is the best, make it so, like, you support them even if they aren't the best, right? And I feel like that's kind of what Astoria's issue was saying, of like how like she just doesn't feel like she's enough because she feels like all she is like a last name, you know, and like that's all she's gonna be is an heiress to this big fortune, so it doesn't matter really what she likes or what she wants to do because that will always be her identity. And it's kind of showing it's like, we're gonna love you no matter what. They watched you almost kill a person, or maybe kill a person, I honestly can't remember, with a hair clip, and they were cheering you on. Like, your girls are not gonna judge you, you know what I mean? So we did get some very big secrets revealed, which I don't know why, because I feel like more of the D&D shows I've been watching lately have not been like character secrets so much as like secrets that the DM is keeping from all the characters. So to get those like reveals of like all the little tidbits that they themselves were keeping as the characters, I was like, oh yeah, this is a thing that happens in D&D, and it's a gut punch. So Mal, we found out, got accepted into the school that they're all attending originally, and the reason they had attended community college for the first 2 years and then transferred was that supposedly none of them have gotten, but then they found out that Mal had gotten and deferred her offer for 2 years so that they could all go together instead of going those 2 years without them. Tinsley is at a breaking point, honestly. She's overachieving way too hard, and like she's doing so good at stuff and it's still not enough for her. Summer is struggling with like relying on people, but also being very scared of ending up alone and kind of using her personality in a way as a shield of being like, if I take care of myself, then I can take care of other people, but not letting other people take care of her. And then Astoria, we also kind of touched on. The biggest thing is she was hiding from her friends that she took up ballet again and is actually in a company and didn't want them to come see her. They kept calling it a recital, but I don't know what the word is when like you're performing. I guess it's just a performance, right? When you're doing it like every night or something like that. It was very interesting to see these girls who, from all we can see and from all they talk about, are best friends with each other, but they still have secrets from each other that you could see. And it was also very interesting that E knew these secrets. I mean, I guess Midge knows them too because we saw their dossiers about like all their like, it's very interesting. Like, it would save you a lot of therapy, right? Like, or at least some therapy to be like, one succinct sentence about like what your major issue is, so then you can kind of get through the initial like, hey, here's all my trauma, what do you think it's led to? You can just be like, okay, this is it, how do we work on this? And what I really thought was interesting was I feel like you see a lot of stories like this where it's like a core group that seems really close, but then you find out they are still keeping things from each other, and that can shift and change the dynamics. So originally when that came out, I was kind of bummed because I was like, oh wait, now they're not going to be as close of friends as they were. But then I realized that in going through that, you do see like the best friendships, the strongest friendships can go through that stuff and change with you. Kind of like how they were talking about Astoria was kind of worried about like changing and being like, you know, who I am now works and I'm not happy, but it works. And if I try and poke at this anymore, like stuff could happen, so I'm going to be okay with it. And Summer was saying like, well, people change with you. Like they still love you and it's like they've been through all this stuff. So I feel like that made me feel better of like, it'll probably be a more healthy friendship if like they don't have to spend every moment together, right? Or it's like they can go off and live their lives and still trust that the people that they love are going to be there for them. We also got like little hints at more stuff. There's some stuff with like Summer and Tori that like she has told her something that the rest of the group doesn't know, and it seems like she doesn't have a great relationship with her parents or family, since she said that the people who are like are supposed to care for you, maybe that's not what looks like for her. And then Tinsley, we also got, has a lot of pressure from her parents, but also puts a lot of pressure on herself. And I think it's interesting because it gets into that idea of, as a friend group, of like you being like, yeah, that's just them. But then when someone else from outside the group points it out, you're like, oh wait, yeah, we should probably actually examine this, because that's kind of what happened with Tinsley when E was like, wow, she like really tries really hard and like pushes herself. And they were like, yeah, that's how Tinsley has always been. Like her parents put a lot of pressure on her. But then the more they kind of discussed it, they were like, actually, she needs to take a break, and maybe we rely on her a little too much to be the leader and be the one to figure it all out, while we're kind of just being our fun selves. So I think it was really, really interesting to see that and see that introspection of each other. I think the only one who really dove more into it was Tinsley, because she seems very relaxed. Now, I love Christina so much. I love the way they play Tinsley when she's like nervous, and how she just says like this whole big sentence, like the part in the beginning with Alfred the robot, which, am I wrong, or is Alfred the name of like the butler, gadget, handler guy in Totally Spies? Because I wonder if that's intentional. I feel like it has to be, but it's also so on the nose. So I don't know if it is or not, but like I feel like that's a fun little Easter egg if it is. But when she was going over like the AI and being like, blah, 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 and like, what if you develop consciousness and the people that made you realize are actually the bad guys, and then you have to rise up to protect your family. Like the way that she like talks like that, it just like, I relate to it so much, of just like quiet, but then just like, blah, 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 you know, like I just, every time she does that, because she did that in the first episode with something too, and it was just so funny the way she does it. So I feel like she's the only one that they've kind of gotten a little progress with, because they made her take a bath. And I love too when Alfred was like, you suck at relaxing, you probably couldn't even relax if you tried, and she's like, I'm gonna relax my butt off, you're never gonna see someone relax as hard as I have. Like I like that, like they're not changing their personalities, right, but they're adapting to like how they can deal with stuff and everything like that. So that was really fun. We also got our training montages, which Tori absolutely obliterating that girl of being like, I will put peanut butter in every single space, crevice, and thing you use for the rest of your life unless you tell us what the password is. It was truly terrible. You know what's terrifying? When the DM's like, I'm not even going to roll for that. That was just like, they failed. They'll give you anything you want. Like that was just so good. I think when we see it the most is like when they're trying to protect their friends, right? She was worried about her friends being squished by a wall, which, as someone who's been in a haunted house where like literally that was part of it, was the walls closed in on you, it's horrifying. So yeah, I can see why they were all stressed out about that, but it's very nice to see that where it's like their protective instincts come out the most with them. I also love the special effects they're doing where they changed Mayana's voice to the robot, and they did it so many times in this one, but they also had like different inflections depending on what the robot was. I have to say, again, special shout out to Peter, the injured robot who was fearful of everything and then like learned to like depend on them. Like I just love him. And also when like they were trying to get Mal to actually get the right, the best time, and Tori pushed him off the table to break him again, and he was like, oh no! Like, it was just so funny. So the episode ended with them infiltrating Faces, which is the club, I guess, that Midge is behind, even though I guess Midge is a student, correct? Like, she is, like, their age, even though we didn't see her there, and she also wasn't listed initially as one of the 4 members. Originally, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool and sweet. Like, they're all connecting to something. But then in a way, I'm like, all right, is it geared to connect them? Because it is strange that, like, there's one thing specifically perfect for all of them, and the people don't seem to be as good at it, but are okay with that and being like, I want to learn from you. I'm like, okay, it makes me a little bit suspicious, especially because they seemed, or at least the one in the robotic thing seemed to know about, like, the surveillance camera or something like that, and they were all very much saying, like, we're safe here. That's why we like it. Like, I thought it was, like, this big kind of academic-wide, campus-wide thing that, like, a lot of people were a part of, so to see that it's only 4 people, 5 if you include Midge, makes me a bit suspicious that it was kind of made just for them, or maybe Midge is trying to make her own kind of version of what E has going on. But then we also got a zone of truth at the end, which again, I continue to love how they're using the spells as like a technology version, or even just like in that instance, it was just Summer's like natural charm of being able to be like, hey, so tell me the truth. I really, really like how that is being like continued to be used. I think it just adds a fun element to it. Also, they got the little tech pads, which were so cool. I said in the last episode I was going to be excited to see what other like tech, like physical stuff they got for props. And the fact that Waldorf can now talk, a talking dog is like all you have to say to sell someone on this, honestly. And I love Wally so much, and I really, really hope that they just let him talk and stop shutting him off, because he has so much to say. The fact that he was like, I'm bored, and she was like, no. It was so cute. But then like telling on her about ballet, she's like, I'll give you a treat. He's like, I don't want a treat, you're so talented, I can't stop talking about it. That was really cute. So in charming and finding out like the zone of truth, Summer found out that they do, yeah, all believe that they are in danger, and that the girls are in danger themselves. There's weird stuff that they've alluded to going on, but no one could really get in depth of what weird stuff they were talking about. But they do say that they want to stay here because they feel safe. That's why they like it. Whenever they were kind of asked like, why did you join this club? And it also seems like it's not a club that like just advertises itself, because I believe it was who Tinsley was with asked like, oh, like, how did you find us or something like that. So it is always interesting of like, when they have very specific same answers, have they been brainwashed, have they not? But what they also alluded to was that maybe E is the bad guy, which, listen, I don't want to say it is. I think that would be a amazing plot twist, but like, I also love E. But it does put it in your mind, and I think it puts it in the girl's mind of like, they've only known this person for 2 days. She showed up, 4 of the people they know died in front of her, and like, yeah, she like took them back in, but at the same time, have they questioned really what the purpose is of this? So it's kind of like, Midge is bad because we've been told Midge is bad. Now E is bad because we've been told E is bad. So it's kind of like they themselves have to figure out who to really believe and trust. And if E really is bad, I'm gonna freak out, because like, as soon as they said that, when like, they wouldn't specifically say E, but they were like, you know who we're talking about, I was like, no, the woman in the pink pantsuit cannot be bad. But it is kind of true of like, she rolls with so much of their stuff, and it like never gets like upset or frustrated or anything like that, that it is kind of like, is it just a means to an end? She's like, I'll let them do whatever they want if it means that I get Midge at the end of the day. But then it's also this faces thing is weird, like being set up specifically for them, it seems, in a way, and how everyone there kind of has specific answers for things and isn't really great at the thing that they are doing, right? Like, I know the girls are so good at it, but it just seems weird for someone who is like so focused on their pursuit, like whatever their particular thing is, to join a club specifically for that, and then you're not even that great at it, you know what I mean? So I really like shifted my whole axis, like ending it like that, and I really don't know truly like which way I lean, if it's like E is bad, or if this is just another thing from Midge that is trying to get them to turn on her side, you know? So we haven't actually seen Midge yet. Well, we did see her briefly, but the girls have not seen her. So I feel like once we kind of get that and a little more going, we'll know more. But it's definitely like, you know, like I feel like I kind of had it figured out, like one track, and now it's like, oh wait, there may actually be a lot more to it. So I'm so excited for the next 2 episodes, and I really, really, like I said, I'm going to be like side-eyeing E anytime they interact with her. There's this gala coming up, which also means shopping episode, which I'm excited. They specifically said not to tell E about, but I also don't know like how they would do that without E realizing where they are. So that's why I'm just not sure. Like, is it a trap? And that's why they're like, don't tell E, she's bad, and then trap, you're all here and no one knows you're here. Or is it actually like, hey, we want to tell you this stuff? Because they did have dossiers on them, and they were watching headquarters, which is very creepy. But again, I could see it where it's construed that like maybe she stole that from E and that's what E had on them before, or maybe she made that as like trying to figure out people. Like, it's wild to be like, is E actually bad? And like that being the thing we're focused on now, like I can't. So yeah, if you have seen this episode, please feel free to leave your thoughts. If you're leaning on Team E is bad or Team Midge is bad, what kind of way you swing with that. And also, what's up with Faces? Because honestly, when they first started hanging out, I was like, oh, these could be some fun friends for them. And then the more they talked, the more I was like, these guys are weird brainwashed vibes. Like, I don't know. So yeah, let me know what you thought about down below in the comments. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!